COL is the most powerful organism within the Rotary organization. You may not be aware of that, but that's the only body that puts fear into the board of directors and the president of Rotary International. Do you realize that?
Not yet.
Not yet. Why? Because you are the legislative power of Rotary International. You are the parliament. You make the rules. I, as the president-elect, have to follow whatever rules you write for me and for the board of directors and for Rotary International. I have a quote that says, "Power knows no vacuum." If you don't exercise it, somebody else will. Sometimes we put the blame on Rotary being shifted from a volunteer-based organization to a staff-driven organization. Have you heard of that before? Do you know why? Because we don't exercise the power we have. We let staff drive us. We have the final word. And you have the final word on me and the board of directors. So, I was delegate to the COL in 2010. It works like a parliament. We negotiate. We exchange votes for topics that are interesting to Europe, interesting to South America, or interesting to the US. This is legitimate. It's legitimate commerce work. The only difference, we don't blackmail anybody. Or we don't pay off. We don't corrupt anybody. We exchange votes based on ideas and arguments, based on discussions, debates, and looking for what is better for Rotary. It is a very controversial environment. You have to be prepared to deal with it. I remember in 2010, I was asked on the side by then President Ray Blinken-Smith, who happened to be a private friend of mine. And he said, "Mario, I need your votes," because he knew that I had trained the incoming delegates from South America. 40, today 45, at that time 65 votes. You have here 72 votes. You can turn a decision to one side or to the other. That's the power you have. He asked me, "Mario, I need your votes for a certain topic that is of interest to the president." I said, "Ray, what do I get in return?" I was talking to the president of Rotary International. He said, "I will negotiate such and such item that favors your part of the world." So over breakfast, we negotiated, and we said, "I will support the U.S. proposition enactment. Then in turn, when my enactment comes into play, you will throw your votes into our enactment." That's legitimate work. So beware, be prepared. Know what is interest of Rotary in Europe and globally speaking. I don't want to take too much of your time, but in 2010, we voted for the elimination of race or gender orientation discrimination in Rotary, basically allowing people with a different sexual orientation to be admitted as Rotarians and not be an obstacle to being a Rotarian. I remember vividly in my mind that what was a proposition by the Scandinavian countries, because they had to follow the law in Scandinavia. You were not allowed to discriminate people based on their gender and sexual behavior or orientation. Then rises a former district governor from Egypt, Somalia, Sudan, South Sudan, That region is one district, or used to be. And he said, no matter what you guys decide here, in my region, gays are condemned to the death penalty. And we will have to follow our local rules. And that's understandable. Rotary will never supersede the local legislation. Rotary will never impose a decision on France or Italy or Spain or Germany to supersede the local laws. We will always obey the local laws. But you have to know that you have the power to change Rotary. You can change the term of a district government. You can change the criteria for establishing districts. You can determine the limitation of the General Secretary working contract. I just said that. You can define whether you're willing to give your power to define dues to the board of directors or not. That's one question that's coming in your book. You can read it. I read it. If you're willing to give the board of directors the power to define dues, you're going to have to do it democratically. We are not going to impose that on you, but you're going to vote it. Or otherwise, they're going to say, no, we want to keep that power within the COL. If you want to appeal a board decision, it's 5.030 in the Code of Policies. You have to appeal to the Council on Legislation. If a board makes a decision, the only body that can overrule that decision is you. Not PDGs, not the Council or past district governors in Germany or in Philippines, where I just came from. They don't have the power. You do. So I want to make you aware of how much power you have in your hands. You have the authority to change Rotary. Aside from our basic values, diversity, integrity, the 4-way test, fellowship, service, leadership, those values, 5 values you cannot change. You cannot change the 4-way test into a 5-way test. Although many people say the 5th question is it fun? It's a joke. But you can change a lot. And I want to make you aware that you have a lot of authority and power in your hands. Please use it wisely to the benefit of our institution. Good work. Thank you.